Hey guys, welcome along to another speedart tutorial. This is Kyle from PalmDesignCode.com, and this week we'll be looking at a scary clown motif slash mascot logo. So let's get to it. So once again guys, I start out with the initial sketch. Prior to this particular one, I kind of had an idea of where I wanted to go with this. So as before in my other videos, just sketched out the initial draft which I had in my head and then started refining. But before I go into any detail, just wanted to thank people for messaging me first and foremost. I've had quite a few people message me from these videos, ask me how I go about doing this sort of stuff and wanted more details. So yeah, I'm really glad it's getting out there and people are responding in a way that these help. So you know, that brings a lot of satisfaction knowing that these videos are inspiring people to perhaps continue doing what they're doing, improve what they're doing. But in the near future, I will actually start sending out videos that go into a lot more depth. These are just speed art videos. So back to this particular project. Right in time for Halloween, as you could see, started with a rough sketch and now it's going into a refining process. This section was pretty cool. I mean, this is an illustration of how I use that circle method and I make them interlap so that eventually when you erase it, it creates good flowing lines, as you can see here. Also did it on this portion of the clown's hair. But a lot of people don't understand. They think that, you know, you straight off the bat you're sketching out to this sort of stage of the process. It takes a lot of refining and it's a bit by bit process. I again change so much stuff as I go along, and you only kind of get inspired by what you're trying to do when you go through this process. It's pretty hard to explain, but from the beginning you start with one thing, and when you look at the end product and what I started with, it's completely different. So it is a lot of refining, it is a lot of tweaking as you go along, but that helps with the process. It's never just a one-off thing. So once again, using the Sketch app and my iPad, I find this again, especially with these symmetrical types of logos, to be really beneficial. When you use the symmetry line, you're able to sketch one half of it and then it replicates to the other half, so you're doing half the work in half the time. For this instance with the tuft of his hair or his mohawk, that's kind of when you toggle the symmetry line off and then you're able to draw around that so that it's not replicating it on the other side. So yeah, just going through this process, shading in. As you can see, it's really starting to look like a good logo now. Just refining more edges, going through some different options. So yeah, once again from here, this is kind of where the shading takes place. This is where a lot of trial and error goes on. For this portion of it, I kind of wanted some downlighting, so a lot of the shadowing would be at the top portion. This one was tricky. Shading, I'll admit, has never really been my strong suit, but I played with the different options and it seemed to work out. So from there, straight into Illustrator again, condensing this portion of the video. This probably in total took about 3 hours to draw out. So what you see here is obviously a speed version of it, but this is the portion that takes a long time. As I mentioned in my other videos, it's a build by build process, so I won't click out all my anchors all in once. It'll be a section by section and then I combine them all. It's a tedious process, but once you get in the zone, it's actually quite therapeutic. I don't know if anyone else finds that, but I quite enjoy it. The build process, it's my favorite portion of the whole situation. As you can see, just focusing on the mouth teeth area, this ended up not going onto my final cut. I changed the teeth up completely. I think at the end of it I just found that it didn't suit the style of the logo in the end. as you will see in the end pictures, it just changed completely. The end product I felt a lot more comfortable with. The lines flowed together, it seemed a lot more cohesive with what I was trying to do. And that again just is an illustration of the step-by-step process. As you're going along, when you're in this section, nothing's final, so that's where you kind of look at it, assess your work and see how it can be better. So just working on the shading here, again lowering the opacity of my sketch. Layers is also super important. This is something I really struggled with to get right in the beginning when I started doing this. Layering up, figuring out how to put shading in certain portions of a sketch. So this is where layering can really help, and it doesn't have to be too difficult. So this is kind of towards the end. Afterwards I tried a different color combinations. Once again for Illustrator it was doing one half and then working the other half by just copying and pasting, and as you can see this was the end product. Used this portion of a branding presentation. If you look in the section of the word contents of this video, you can see I've got certain links to Behance and different channels this goes on to, so feel free to check it out. Hit me a follow if again you got any questions. I'd like to help out. So again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This was a fun project. Take care.